It's day 7. We're rounding out our first week of the 2021 Vocabulary Challenge, 1 video a day, every day for 30 days. We're learning 105 words from the academic word list. So these are words you need to know if you're preparing for the IELTS or the TOEFL exam, but also if you read or watch news in English or have conversations with native speakers. In other words, these are useful words, important words that you will come across. You're learning 4 new words today with tons of real-life examples. So grab your friends, have them join the challenge with you, and let's do this. When you learn a new word, make up your own sentence, record yourself in a video saying that sentence, and post to social media using the hashtag Rachel's English 30-Day Challenge. And as always, if you like this video or you learned something new, please like and subscribe with notifications. It means a lot. Don't forget, there's a download to go with this video, a list of all the words with definitions and sample sentences, as well as quizzes to make sure you're really getting and remembering these words. You can get that download by following this link or the link in the video description. Today's 4 words are export, distribute, sector, and percent. And we're looking at the different ways these words are used in various situations. For each word, you'll learn the definition, we'll go over the pronunciation, you'll get to see the pronunciation up close and in slow motion, and we'll have 5 examples from real-life English. First, export.
Export.
The verb form has 2 pronunciations with different stress. Export or export. It's a verb and it means to send a product to be sold in another country. About 90 countries exported oil to the US in 2019. As a noun or adjective, it has first syllable stress, export, and it's a product that's sent to another country to be sold there. Exports to China have risen this year. Let's look again up close and in slow motion.
Export. 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 Export.
And now we'll go to English for 5 examples of this word in real situations.
We export products, cars, widgets, etc.
Things the country makes and sells in another country. Exports.
We export products, cars, widgets, etc.
Another example.
One of its top export markets is Japan.
Top export markets. One of the top countries where a company sells its product is Japan.
One of its top export markets is Japan.
Here's another example.
Of all the goods that we export to the world, only 1% still goes to sub-Saharan Africa.
Goods. That's another word for products. Of all the things we make and sell to other countries, less than 1% is sold to sub-Saharan Africa.
Of all the goods that we export to the world, only 1% still goes to sub-Saharan Africa.
Here's another example.
Elsa hopes to export the idea of a birding trail to other national parks.
Export the idea. So this verb can be used not just with products, but thoughts and culture. And it can be used like this not just to other countries, but to places within the country. For example, here, the idea was developed at a national park. And they're hoping other national parks will want to do the same thing. They're hoping to tell other parks what they've done and export the idea.
Elsa hopes to export the idea of a birding trail to other national parks.
Here's our last example.
And to this day, bananas and plantains alone make up about 15% of all exports.
All exports. Of all goods being sold to another country, 15% are bananas and plantains.
And to this day, bananas and plantains alone make up about 15% of all exports.
The next word is distribute.
Distribute.
It's a verb that means to give or deliver something to people or businesses. Millions of masks have been distributed to stores around the world since the pandemic began. Let's look again up close and in slow motion.
Distribute. 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 Distribute.
And now we'll go to English for 5 examples of this word in real situations.
How do you distribute leadership?
Distribute leadership. So here we're talking about a quality, a characteristic, and not a thing. It's similar to the concept of exporting an idea. Distributing leadership. How do you take this quality and develop it in others in a way delivering this quality to them?
How do you distribute leadership?
Here's another example.
She had to distribute them herself.
She had to give them out, deliver them herself.
She had to distribute them herself.
Here's another example.
We distribute milk and eggs and chicken and peanut butter and rice and beans.
They deliver this food, give it to them.
We distribute milk and eggs and chicken and peanut butter and rice and beans.
Another example.
And we distribute that fat in different places based on hormones.
Distribute that fat. That fat is delivered to different parts of the body.
And we distribute that fat in different places based on hormones.
Here's our last example.
We really want to integrate ourselves in these communities and take ideas from local people that we then help to distribute.
Again, talking about ideas and not objects. Distribute ideas, hand them out, pass on valuable information.
We really want to integrate ourselves in these communities and take ideas from local people that we then help to distribute.
Our next word is sector.
Sector.
As part of the KT cluster, the T is very light. It might even sound like a very light D. Sector. Sector. It's a noun. It means a part of an economy that includes certain kinds of jobs like industry, agriculture, service. New York is the center of the financial sector in the U.S. Let's look again at the pronunciation.
Sector. 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 Sector.
And now we'll go to English for 5 examples of this word in real situations.
And we think that government collected data could do a few things that the private sector won't do on its own.
The private sector. This is used to separate private businesses and organizations from the government.
And we think that government collected data could do a few things that the private sector won't do on its own.
Here's another example.
They're focusing narrowly on the tech sector.
The tech sector, technology, things like hardware and software, apps, that kind of thing.
They're focusing narrowly on the tech sector.
Let's go on to our next example.
The agricultural sector is doing very well.
Agricultural sector, that part of the economy that has to do with farming and growing food.
The agricultural sector is doing very well.
Another example.
A couple of years ago, I was in northern Nigeria talking to justice sector professionals.
Justice sector, the part of the government relating to the court system.
A couple of years ago, I was in northern Nigeria talking to justice sector professionals.
Here's our last example.
A friend of my mother's is somebody who's in the interior design sector.
Interior design sector. Jobs and work relating to the design of the interior of spaces, things like furniture and decor.
A friend of my mother's is somebody who's in the interior design sector.
Our last word today is percent.
Percent.
It's a noun. It means 1 part in 100, an amount that's equal to 1/100th of something. Water covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface. Let's look again up close and in slow motion.
Percent. 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 Percent.
This word is pretty straightforward, isn't it? But still, we'll go to English to see 5 examples.
We recovered 75% of the computers that he sold.
75%. 3/4 of all computers sold.
We recovered 75% of the computers that he sold.
Here's another example.
Only 20% of people sent the message to their friend.
Just 20 out of 100 people did this.
Only 20% of people sent the message to their friend.
Here's another example.
But at the end of his life, the result was that he had only signed 10% of his paintings.
He signed just 1 out of every 10 of his paintings.
But at the end of his life, the result was that he had only signed 10% of his paintings.
Another example.
Oxygen levels have been estimated to have been as low as 15% compared to today's 21%.
Comparing two percentages. So not a raw amount of oxygen, not a number, but a percent as it relates to the whole.
Oxygen levels have been estimated to have been as low as 15% compared to today's 21%.
Here's our last example.
The price of an antibiotic went up by 400% overnight.
Went up 400%. You might also hear someone say, the price went up by 4x overnight.
The price of an antibiotic went up by 400% overnight.
Seeing their real-life examples can really help you understand how to use these words, can't it? I have a challenge for you now. Make up a sentence with one of these words and post it to social media, tag me, and use the hashtag Rachel's English 30-Day Challenge. Don't be shy, you can do this. Our next video comes out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Philadelphia time. Come back to learn 4 more vocabulary words. In the meantime, keep your studies going with this video and check out my online courses at rachelsenglishacademy.com. You'll become a more confident English speaker. And please do remember to subscribe. I love being your English teacher. That's it, and thanks so much for using Rachel's English.